Thank you very much, and thanks for all of you. 80 people showing up. Awesome. I really like that. So first of all, to introduce myself, who am I? I'm team leader in LSG Linux System Group's quality engineering department, reporting to Ralph Unger, and I'm a happy team leader of a good bunch of quality engineers, software engineers, and so on. And but this time I'm here just a regular openSUSE and Sleek contributor. As we were talking with Anna that maybe I can share my journey, my experience. So other than who I am, who I'm not an OBS expert. I'm not a packaging wizard. I'm not somebody who knows inside out the whole factory and the whole product workflow. I'm really just an ordinary engineer who wanted to contribute to openSUSE, who I wanted to like set an example to my people. That was one motivation, and I really wanted to learn. I came from Debian Ubuntu past, and in Ubuntu I used to be a package maintainer and contributor. So packaging in general is not very new thing to me, but I've never been maintainer in public repositories for RPM packages. So that was new to me in the beginning. And I came to realize that OBS actually is a pretty cool tool, and it suits to my style and my way of thinking very much. So anyway, how I started off, and usually if it were really like a normal show, I would ask the audience that how many of you have ever contributed to any open source project? Hands up. And now that's the time when I should see the hands up or down. So I'm yeah, that can help. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you can do that. Many of you, awesome. Wow, thank you. So how many of you have ever contributed to a Linux distribution? Andrea, yeah, Ferenc, I see, yeah, you guys, good, lots of you. Very well. So good to hear. So if I say something totally stupid, you see there are people here who can correct me right away. And so first of all, I made some notes on like how to start off. When I decided I want to contribute to openSUSE, first my motivation was very egoistic and very like self-driven. I really wanted to show to my team that I can do it. That was the beginning. I really wanted to show that if I can do it, you can do it. So I really wanted to show off. That's one thing. The other thing is I really wanted to leave a mark. I wanted to be sure that once I work for SUSE and I'm playing with openSUSE, I want to see my name in it. I'm a snob person. I really enjoy seeing my name on places, and so there is no easier way than seeing your name in a changelog or in a commit message. So I really wanted to like contribute to that it shows it's in a public record. I can tell it to my friends. When I go out with my other techie geek friends, I can say, you know, I'm a contributor in openSUSE. So it feels good, and that was my main motivation, that I wanted to contribute. And of course, the third was that I wanted to contribute to the project. I get my monthly salary, so I'm paid because SLE exists and so openSUSE exists, and I think it's fair to give something if I can. So these were my main motivations. If you want to contribute to openSUSE and you are not yet, I would suggest you to firstly figuring out what is your driving energy, what is motivating you to do that. Just for the sake of doing it, I can promise you that you will burn out pretty quickly. So you need to have a stronger motivation. The second was I wanted to figure out what to contribute. So what is what do I need to do? So I was just chatting with Ferenc, one of our newcomers, just very recently, that the primary motivation to find what you want to do, what I wanted to do, is that what I need. So it's easier to contribute to a package which I'm using daily. It's easier to contribute a piece of code, an application, a plugin or whatever to openSUSE if I need it. So to me, I will tell you two examples. One was the VI package in SLE. In openSUSE, it's Andrei Shukup who is the maintainer. I'm just the SLE maintainer, but anyway, it's about the same. He does more work. So I decided I'm using VI on a daily basis. VI is my #1 editor. I see Emacs people are dropping the line. Awesome. So I thought that, okay, if there is no maintainer in SLE for VI, then I will be one. Okay, so it's a good motivating thing. I'm using this package. I'm using this application, easier to use. So that was one. The other one was a new application. I'm using Zypper a lot. So we use in a QA engineering Zypper all the time. Zypper is my favorite application inside SUSE. My good old friend Benjamin Zeller is one of the maintainers, so it's even more reason to like it. And I was missing always a tool, a plugin to show me the change logs. So I decided to write one. I created one and I contributed it to openSUSE, and I made it. So I needed it. I wanted to have an application which does that. So that's the #1 motivation for picking one, what to contribute, something what you need, something what you use, something what you can relay. So that's how I started off. And then my first steps were kind of like being scared, like, am I good enough for it? Do I have enough knowledge? All these I'm not good enough for that. I'm weak. I'm not as smart as those guys who are really doing it day in, day out. And then I was convinced by a good bunch of team members that no, it's not that difficult after all. And then comes the role of the community, what we have. So without Martin Plusky, without Chris Divan, without Benjamin Zeller, I would never have the courage. So it's very important to belong to the community where you want to contribute. If somebody's not, I don't know. So after I had my own motivation, and then I figured out what I want to do, then the third one was to find the community, find my support group who I can turn to if I need help, because I do need help a lot. I'm an old man, so I can say that when I started off, there was no ChatGPT, so I really had to ask real people for help, and I got this help. So basically, I want to give I wonder if I can share screen. I will show you a few things. Open share tray. If now it's crashing, I'm coming back. I don't know how's screen one. Good enough. So first of all, the #1 place to play with. Do you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Also, I think I closed all the. Yeah, sometimes I'm sharing my screen. I wonder if I left open some stupid website, but not. So the #1 place to go is the OBS. I don't want to give you a lecture about OBS. First of all, because I'm really not that good at it. Second, we have people who are good at it, so ask them. But basically, OBS is hosting projects, and those projects have packages in it, and those projects build openSUSE and build our SLE products. Very, very simple. So if you want to contribute, you need to figure out where that package lives, what that project is about. So let's say that I'm just giving you a very short tour on how simple it is. So the steps are like going to OBS, find a project in the search field, what you want to play with, and figure out what's the name of the project, and simply use OSC to branch the comment. I give like this example, I put it in a comment field. Sharing the screen would be so much easier. So like really simple, like doing a comment, like branch it, check it out. Check it out after.
Zoltan?
Yes, please.
I don't. It probably wouldn't be bad if we could see the screen share again. I'm not sure if that really caused the break.
I can give it a try. If it breaks again, I will come back again. I'm not doing it again.
Okay,
So
cool.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you see my command line. So simple like branching my project, simple as it is. Check it out. Oh, already initialized working on area. Let's see if I have it already checked out. Yeah, I get it. And here I have the source code, and the next is really just to the simple commit it and make a submit request. That's like the same commands. I can give you one. Where is it? I wrote my story up in this blog post, and I was pretty surprised that actually the workflow is really simple. You branch the project, you check out the project, you do the work, and commit it just with like any subversion or git action. You commit it. Actually, it's subversion basically, but yeah. And then you create a submit request to the project. And then the project who you were requesting this submission will review, and you can see in GitHub. Where is it? Yeah, GitHub. I'm an idiot. So you can see on OBS all the builds, how they're successful, and then it's merged to the main project. So actually, that's what you need: branching, checking it out, committing it, and make a submit request. If you're good with all these, actually, I was surprised that all these four commands with the right parameter necessarily. It's not very complicated. Then you are a contributor to an existing project. That's what it takes. If you want to create a new package, then you need to have a development branch. This is the development project. This is what the zip plugins for me. So my project is hosted on this development project. If you want to create a totally new one, then I think your mileage will be much longer. I really don't know how to create that or how to do that. If you want to create a new application in openSUSE, then you need to figure out who is the one who can do that. So that's basically the very simple path. Like, find your project on OBS, figuring out what's the project URL, branch it, check it out, do the monkey, commit it, submit request, get all the reviews, fix all the mistakes you made. The first one, I think I had like 10 iterations before I could get everything right, to get the spec file correct, and so on. And that's fairly easy. Now, I will change to a different topic, but if you have any question about what I was talking about, then I'm happy to answer how to.
Okay, I take the trophy for the dumbbell question, but what to contribute? So, I mean, I find a project I like, and I want to contribute. What to contribute to that particular project? Do I get a listing of open bugs? Do I come up with a crazy feature idea and start coding right away? So,
okay,
what is to be done?
Lovely question. I really like that question. It's almost as we were talking about that. We were not. So, look, one thing where I think openSUSE community is not great yet, and I've seen in the Ubuntu community being do that people contribute to actually fix typos. I've seen dozens of senior retired teachers who were doing as a hobby, finding grammar errors in man pages and checking out packages and committing it. So if if you are not a coder, if you are not a software engineer, if you are not sure about your spec file foo and your Python, C++ skills whatsoever, then you can pretty much check out any project, any package, and fix a typo and just push it back. It's an awesome contribution, and many non-technical people think that I'm too weak to contribute, while they are totally good to fix translations, create even translation for projects, packages, fix typos. If you see that the package what you are using, the spec file URL, the website is saying is wrong, you can update it. So you can do lots of small things. So that's the number one. Number two, yet again, back to the package. If you use an application and you see an annoying bug, you can always fix that. So that's, if you have the engineering skills and you have the competence, you can fix that. Or you can check out the bugs file against that project and against that package and try to fix that. Or like in my case, I was missing a feature in Zipper, so I implemented it and I contributed it. That maybe is a bit bigger thing, but you can always do that. You see? So that's does it make sense, Peter?
Yep, perfectly. Thanks.
So yeah, so this is actually but it's a really good question, and I'm very happy that you asked. And my message to everybody who is not technical and not a coder, remember, you can change lots of things. You can improve our package. Big packages are just, not good enough, or there are typos and spelling errors, or the translation is not perfect. So yeah, that's. Thank you, Lubos. Thank you. Very good link. So go for it. so that's one. Now I like to change a little bit more serious topic on if you want to contribute to openSUSE and you want to figure out what to do, and you have the packaging skills somehow, and you have some software engineering skills, then how you find what to do. So first, I like to give credit to my colleague Andre, because I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show his blog post. Where are you, brother? I think you are the one who, yeah. We should. You don't have a favicon. Fix it. So Andrea made a very simple tool and wrote a very nice blog post on how to figure out that our package is behind the competition, because that's one thing. And the source is Repology. So it's one of the sources. There are many places with similar information, but Repology is pretty good, and it has decent API. That's what Andre's code is consuming. So for example, no, this one. So I can check out what the situation is with the VI, and I can see that right now, for example, on openSUSE Leap, we don't bother about that. We see the Tumbleweed is a little bit behind the thing. So it shows that you can actually have an update. So if you use your favorite package, your favorite application on openSUSE Tumbleweed, and check out the version in Repology and see if there is a open source, the upstream update. And then the next is to check out if the package has a maintainer already, then maybe figure out why it's not updated, what's the situation, and consider it. Maybe you can contribute to that. Maybe you can offer your help. Now comes a little bit more serious topic. So you figure out, read that blog from Andrea and check out the Repology and see what packages are behind and needs love.
So we lost you right when you were loading the page, build system statistics, and you started to say how to figure out what packages in our distribution, and then that's where it froze.
So I try to restart the Teams on my PC as well, and then see. In the meantime, I keep talking. So so my motivation was to figure out what packages are either orphaned or need some attention. And well, actually, OBS does provide brilliant API to do that research, and that's what that blog post, and that's the simple tool I made ACE for. So if you have a motivation and if you have some basic skills, you can simply clone that project from GitHub and fill in a simple environment variable file and do the same research as I did, and it will create you a big file of each package, 14,000 packages in openSUSE, the factory, and you can see that what packages are without maintainer, or you can also use the tool from Andre to figure out that what are the packages that are so badly behind the competition, how I call that, like from compared to the upstream, that they have a maintainer, but they are not recent enough. And then you can talk to the maintainer and ask that why the package is so badly behind. Is it possible that the maintainer doesn't have any more the time to work with that, and maybe take over the package? Or if the package is orphan or doesn't have maintainer at all, then you see what to contribute. But basically, you need to have some visibility on what are those packages. Now we have 14,000 packages in openSUSE, and I do have some statistics about how many, but we talk about like hundreds of packages that actually need some attention. And the question, how severe those needs, I don't know. How many of those packages are like super critical for our ecosystem? I really don't know. I know that there are about 200 packages in SLE that are like living without proper maintainer, or having maintainer who is not with us anymore, or in the cold pool. So there are many ways to figure that out, but actually we definitely do need people who help that work. I try to restart my Teams now, and I think if you are interested about that, and if you are motivated to contribute, then if you read those blog posts from Andre and from me, then you will understand how to find them. And here is a disclaimer that yes, there are many other ways to figure out what to contribute and how to contribute. That was just one, maybe. Sorry, I'm just getting out the Okta password so that I can log in. So yeah, that's how you find out what, because that's the most common question when I started to promote this work with my team, that all right, let's contribute to openSUSE. Most people were asking that, how do I know what to contribute? So this is how you know. Now I like the comment from Ismail that why not use Jitsi? Thank you. And let's leave. I'm back at my desk. Sorry for the hassle. So if you have questions about this second section about how to find the right package, how to figure out what is the priority of those packages, and how to like figure out what's your what the possible contribution, please ask a question. If there is anything, let me check the chat. Yeah, bashing Teams is always a good topic. Thank you. All right, so that's on. I don't see any questions. Actually, my internet is really crappy, but thank you, camera. That's not the subject of this call. So I think I was a little bit rushing too much with my topics, and I pretty much covered my story on that one, what I wanted to share with you. I'm open for questions, or if you have anything to share with us, or anything you want to like figure out, then I'm happy to talk and happy to discuss any other topics. If not, then I was asked today that if you want to create a new application, how does that work in that?
So Lubos has raised his hand, so he can make the question.
I'm not sure if my connection won't be worse. I'm from LTE actually, or I'm using LTE. But you were talking basically about contributing to packages, but I see that all of us would really appreciate if somebody would contribute to tests or openQA, or like basically quality assurance aspect of openSUSE. Do you have any tips, because you are from the correct department? So maybe tell people how to begin.
Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't dare to touch that topic, so I was already afraid if what I was talking about is like too technical. So yes, long rant, very long venting. Sorry. The bottom line and the base of the quality of the service what we provide to our customers is actually the quality of openSUSE Tumbleweed Leap. And the best way to contribute the quality engineering is primarily to use it. I know it's an annoying topic, but truly and really use it. And I don't necessarily mean by use it for like primary desktop. I do have 2 Linux servers in my home. One is serving as a NAS, and the other one is a Raspberry Pi with a backup system. Both are running openSUSE, and so I'm using lots of software for providing the file system sharing, to provide the backup utilities, to create like web interface, all those things, and I'm using it for those purposes. And if I see something wrong, then I can contribute to filing a bug or even fixing it. So that's like, use it. That's what I would say. If you want to contribute, the best way is to consume what we have. So that's one thing. When we come to, like you mentioned, openQA and contributing to the quality engineering part, I would be really happy if more engineering teams would use openQA for their own purposes. So if they would integrate openQA as part of the CI in their system, or at least in their workflow. openQA is fairly easy to install in a container. We do have trainings about that. I remember 4 years ago, Petr Červinka was showing a very nice demo on how to deploy an openQA basically in a simple virtual machine, and how you can drive simple tests on it. So if you are an engineer in another department, not in the QA, I would encourage you to deploy an openQA, create your own tests, and use it as part of your CI. And if that CI looks good, then contribute those tests to the master openQA. We do have the openSUSE instance of openQA, many tests for that, but we always can create more. So if you have Perl skills and you are into Perl programming, then covering the functional test for your favorite UI application on openSUSE is always welcome, and it's really not that difficult. So basically, if you want to make sure that your favorite application, maybe not that popular, so it's not covered already, you can always create a simple test just to deploy it, and then you can check that for yourself. So yes, we can always contribute it for the community part, and also I would be really happy to see openQA and the same quality engineering workflow being adopted to other departments. Was that the answer, Lubos, you were looking for, or what else?
Yeah, it was not for me. I just wanted to highlight the fact that it's not just packages, it's also everything around. And that's very important for me. Thank you.
Yeah, and I see Heiko was mentioning very fairly that you don't necessarily even need to have your own OpenQA. The whole quality engineering is fully open source, and you can always contribute to the main one. So yes, it's all possible. Last two people who wanted to contribute to QA.
There are also two hands that I see, and then we can also jump to the chat because there are also questions there. So Cameron, you had your.
Jonas.
Yes, I had my hand up. So I always get the question like, where do I start? I thought your story is great, Zoltan. Thanks for sharing that. And typically, you know, I get people asking me, well, where is the best place to start? And it's really all about your skill and what you can contribute. And oftentimes people don't know who to ask, you know, where to start. You know, who owns, you know, some of the projects within openSUSE, who can direct them in the right direction. You know, there's always these questions that seem to be very difficult to direct somebody that really wants to contribute. And, you know, if there was maybe a list or a list of people that they could engage with to help them, you know, get fit in the right direction so they can start contributing, that would be extremely helpful.
I totally hear you, and I fully agree with you. What I think what you are talking about is the community, is that how strong our internal community is, and I think it's very much debatable and arguable how strong it is. My opinion is that it's not as strong as it should be and as it could be. We have way much more competence in-house than what we use in our community in that sense. There are good examples. For example, there is a packaging Slack channel where you can ask whatever silly questions and nobody will laugh at you, and you will be helped if you are packaging. So I think it's if you want to contribute to the translations of our software, then maybe we should have a translation Slack channel where people who are competent and have skills and have experience and help each other. So we should build those communities, and we should engage our own people and groom those communities. I think it's the alpha and omega is community, and support that community. So yeah, I fully agree. It's very challenging. I was lucky because my interest was something what I know who the people are. So yeah, I was interested in Zipper, so I knew I need to reach out to Benjamin Zeller, and he was helping me. I knew I did packaging. I knew Martin Pluska, who was a master of packaging, and he helped me. So I was lucky, but I understand that if you are interested about different things, your mileage may differ. Yeah, but thanks for the question, Camero. So Johannes.
I want to say that to start with OpenQA and contribute is not easy. One solution maybe it's if I disagree that we don't have a strong community. There is a good community around OpenQA and packaging and everything, but what maybe is missing is to make it easy for people who wants to contribute, which usually are newcomers, students, and people that they don't know much about PET maybe, but they want to learn. Usually one solution could be that as we have many labs and communities do install fest, we can have a workshop to help others install, because even experienced people in our teams struggle to configure some things. Sometimes takes maybe weeks. So the only way is if we step up and organize something and invite them to help them install maybe.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. One thing what I like to respond to that is that if you talk to Oliver Kurz, Christian Divan, Tina Müller, so the core developers in OpenQA, I'm sure they will be able to tell how easy it is. Now that there is a discrepancy here, and the perception of the newcomers and new users of a complex tool like OpenQA, and you can substitute the word OBS to that, and then you have the hardcore gurus who think it's really easy. Now, what I'm missing is actually dozens of blog posts and video casts about how easy it is to create an OpenQA test, right? It's this somehow the SDK developer comes out from May that when you create an application developer tool, the number one document you create is that how to make in 5 minutes an application. So you can find YouTube videos and whatever, and how many documents like how to create an Android application in 5 minutes, how to create an iOS application in 2 minutes. And even if we all know it's not that easy, but you can find those resources. Now, this is something what I would enjoy to see more of it. For example, when it comes to like how to use OBS with OSC, there are good documentation. So there are really good Confluence pages internally and some really good documentations outside for openSUSE that tells you how easy it is, and that makes the entry level a bit more comfortable. So I agree with Johannes that we do need those blog posts and videocasts about these things, that how to create a new test for my favorite application in OpenQA in 5 minutes, because basically you can create it in 5 minutes, but we need those blog posts. So yes, but this is again community engineering, and we need people who understand that what are these documents, what are these blog posts, what are these video casts.
It depends from the scenario. It's like it can be, and from the point of view, it can be 5 minutes for some scenarios and can be really hard for some others.
Yeah, but
if you are talking about spreading the word, yeah, we need more promotion and blogs.
Correct. The best way to engage open source contributors and contributors to openSUSE is to give the newcomers a really experience of the success very, very quickly. So it's the same thing like if as Cameron said, that like if you want to contribute and you are already eager, you already have the motivation, we need to make sure that you will taste the success in few minutes, few days, very briefly. If we very proudly tell that if it's not complicated enough, then maybe you are not smart enough for that. So it should be complicated, right? Because if it's not complicated, then so that's the wrong attitude, I believe. I think we need to have the attitude that we show to newcomers how easy things are. And naturally, we don't demo the most complex and most difficult scenario in OpenQA. Instead of that, maybe we just create a test deploying a simple chat application, or we just make a test for testing the BC command. That it does work, but maybe we can make a test for it, and then it would be fantastic to show and have the feeling that we can do it. So yeah, good stuff. Any hands up?
Not hands, but there is plenty of discussion here in the chat. I can start from the older questions, and if some of them are not answered, we can discuss them here. But Nicholas had asked if you could cover OBS a little further, but I'm not sure if right now there is time. Plus, I know that there are trainings happening from time to time. Am I correct, Zoltan?
Yeah, yeah, it's a challenging question. It's like would you please briefly talk about the human history from the Stone Age to the like in 5 minutes? It's big, but still, yet coming back to the short and brief success story. If you have an account on OBS, and if you find the project you are interested, and you click around and you see the build results, to see the compilation logs and everything, you will discover it pretty quickly. I must say I'm using OBS in different companies since 2012, and I can say that the user experience is nowadays way much better than it used to be. So explore it. If a newcomer asks what OBS is, I mean, it's a build system which hosts software projects and repositories, like the package repository in a nutshell. But it's really rich in features. It does everything. I think there is a Wolfenstein somewhere hiding in it too. So there's like little, I mean, it can build you container images, Yocto images, even Debian images. We've used OBS for building the Migo platform, and I used OBS for building an automotive multi-computer platform as well. So it does know a lot. Yeah. OBS in 40 minutes, go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you mean language, but yes.
Yeah, I guess the initial preface of that, of OBS, was like I've come across like links internally within SUSE about OBS, how to use it, but I just always was under the impression that was locked down for QA and not for people outside of that. So I just wasn't aware that was something that was a universal tool, I guess, or used. And so that's why I brought that initial question up. And then, you started going into, well, install your own OpenQA instance. And then so I don't really hadn't really heard of that either. So it was and hadn't known that you could do it locally. I just, again, was under the impression that was internal and locked down. So that, going back to OpenQA, so test framework and UI functional testing framework in the Linux ecosystem has always been a difficult problem. As always, I worked with several Linux platforms. There's always a problem that how do you test the testability driver for some, the autopilot in Ubuntu things. And I think OpenQA is pretty much the oldest and the longest surviving framework. So if right now, if you hear about a company who is developing a Linux platform with some sort of UI, and they're looking for a test driver, I think OpenQA is a really good tool. But OpenQA was initially developed for UI validation and functional testing and user scenario validation. So it's not as strong as a framework you would create in PyTest or with T-driver in Ruby on Rails. So there are stronger test frameworks, but when it comes to user scenario for a UI-centric application or a framework, it's pretty strong. And yes, it's open source and you can use it. Anybody can use it. Yeah, and Antonio, thank you for chipping in that the public OBS instance is the build-openSUSE.org. It's free for everybody. We don't advertise it enough, I think, that actually it's a good place to host your project, and it's a very strong packaging and building environment. So use it. I'm using it and it's fun. Yeah, thank you, Dominic. True story. Not advertised enough that OpenQA is used by Fedora, and it's cool. Still, I think OpenQA is not appreciated in the industry for what it is good for. I think there should be hundreds of
projects that could use it. I think basically any set-top box, TV set-top box, any internet boxes should use that for testing. All right. Anna, do you see any other question?
There are some questions, but I see that they're answered pretty much all. And there is also a raised hand from Ioannis. I don't know if he wants to, or it was from previous time. Okay.
I really like what Lubos you wrote about, that if you want to contribute to QA, participate to lead beta testing. I do it frequently. I made it once a Hack Week project to make a beta on a Raspberry Pi for ARM. It's really easy to do that. But as I started off in the beginning, the first step is to consume and then get interested and get excited about what you consume, and then contribute to that.
I take some questions from Lars. Is my feeling that contributing to openSUSE is 90% providing packages and 10% something else nobody knows?
Yes. As I said, in other distros, the majority of contribution is not packaging and not software engineering type, but translations, typos, and reporting bugs. So I think that's the 10% or even less what you mentioned, that we are missing that one. And here I can go back to my regular rant, is that community. We should build community, groom community, and so we'll have more of the contributors for non-technical domain.
Also, Costas wrote, I wonder if it would be better for non-technical contributions to make contributing as easy as editing a page in Confluence instead of messing with pulling and pushing and all that. Perhaps we need better tools in order to encourage contributions.
Yeah, better tools is always good, but maybe I'm not far, but I can tell you that people were contributing even when the only tool was pretty much like VI and FTP and not even Git. So I think they can really help people to enter, but I think the number one point is if you are motivated, if you are angry and you want to fix that bug, then you will fix that bug regardless how crappy tools you have in your hand. So it's really about like the motivation you have.
Katerina is asking, is there anything we can do that will break Linux? Should we be careful if we start to practice/contribute?
No, you can't break it. It's broken already. No, really. I mean, for real, the workflow and the gatekeeping are so strong that you don't need to be worried about that. I believe me, I try to break it. I did my best to in the very beginning, that I was submitting requests so crazy stupid that I'm even today I'm so grateful to those people who reviewed my first submissions and helped to correct my broken spec files and all the stupidities and yes, typos and wrong change logs and you name it. And we have very strong gatekeepers and gatekeeping process. So no, you can break it.
Next question would be by Ismail. I'm wondering about two things. First is contributions across OBS instances, and second, is there any GUI for OBS for less technically inclined people, parentheses translators especially?
I'm not
I think that somebody has already posted the link for the translations. Yeah, it was Dominic.
About OBS, really, I'm not an expert. I'm not the right person to. I think there is an OBS channel in Slack, so I think there is a Lubos. You want to say something
Yeah, I'm
about
not
it?
an expert, but I can confirm that you can actually contribute cross instances. There is a prefix that you can use, openSUSE.org, if you are employee, and you can actually take submissions from OBS into IBS. And even for externals, you can actually contribute from OBS to IBS through submit request mirroring. There is a wiki page linked in the chat.
Wow.
It's
Thank you.
annoying because I have to manually mirror these submissions, but at least some gatekeeping is there, so we have some control about what's going in. Thank you.